Hey guys, it's Alan, the Fireman 1028, and today I'm back with our 2025 KTM 390 Enduro R. And today we got some parts to install. First thing we're going to install, Coober Performance Fuel Controller. Now what this is going to do is this is going to be a piggyback unit. This is not a standalone ECU. Hopefully that'll be coming down the road. But this is going to be a fuel controller that's going to tie into the Lambda, aka O2 sensors, and it's going to interrupt a signal that's going to the ECU, and it's going to say, hey, I need more fuel. And what this is going to do is hopefully this is going to correct our low RPM fueling issue. Again, closed loop, because that's what runs off the Lambda sensors. So again, this is not the ultimate solution, but this is what the best we got right now. So let's get it on the bike. Now again, if you see anything that you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That's the ultimate compliment, is to subscribe to the channel. The products, the tools that you're going to need is a 4 and 5 millimeter Allen and a 10 millimeter socket. That's it. Everything else you can do. Maybe a little tiny screwdrivers to undo the connectors, but that's it. So let's get it on the bike. All right, guys. So our fuel controller is a very simple installation. So we have two separate sets of leads. We have a longer and a shorter. This is the longer, this is the shorter. One attaches to the wiring going to the pre-cat Lambda, aka O2 sensor, and the other one intercepts the signal coming from the post-cat Lambda, aka O2 sensor. And it's going to plug in, it's going to intercept that signal, and then you have a ground wire that's going to attach, and then this goes in the back, and that's it. All right, guys, so our first step is that we're going to remove our body panel so we can go ahead and access our plugs for our Lambda sensor. So we're going to take off these panels. We're going to take this panel off here, and then there's an upper panel right there. So all you're going to need is a number 5 and a number 4 Allen head. You got 2 screws back behind the panel here. All right, so that takes all the panels off. That takes all the panels off the right side of the bike. Now, that was a bit more difficult than it should be. On the back of the panel, there's a screw right there that screws in from this side here. So, all right, so everything we need to get to is right behind this panel right here. So here's our pre-cat O2 sensor here, and our post-cat O2 sensor here. Now, if you notice, some of their wiring really doesn't look that good right here. But our sensors are tied up right here. So there's a zip tie here that we got to cut off. Let's get that zip tie out of the way. And then there's a little plug right there. We see that holds the wires in place. So we'll pop that out. Just a little flathead screwdriver. You can pop that and get those loose. And that gives you access to your Lambda sensor. Right there. So again, this goes to our post-cat. Here's our pre-cat connector. And here's our post-cat connector here. So again, we'll show you the connectors here. So they're labeled. They make it super easy. We'll put it right side up. Post-cat. Post-cat is the longer of the 2 cables. And pre-cat, take a guess, is the shorter of the 2. So like I said, these are factory plugs. See that? Coober gives you great plugs. No splicing, none of that stuff. We're going to intercept the signal. Pre-cat plug right here. Press in on that. Pop that little guy down. And he's loose. The juice is loose. There's a zip tie right there that we need to cut. They even give you zip ties with the kit. Don't cut your wires. To tie everything back together to give it that factory oh so fresh look. So we're going to pull this out here. Now we're going to run these wires back up underneath the tank to make this as clean and seamless as possible. So we're going to start from up here, go ahead and run our wiring down, and then we'll make our connections. So we're going to disconnect this connector right here. And if you see, it's a normal automotive style connector. You'll press on it and pull it apart, and that's it. Now, that is the pre-cat connector, and if there's any doubt, trace the wires back up, and you'll see that it comes in pre-cat. All right, now those are connected there. Now, we're gonna run our post-cat down through the frame. Let's see if we can fish those down this way. So we're gonna try to fish these down through inside of the frame. Right-ya. That's a fat plug, so it's not. We got our plugs through. See that? Got our plugs through the frame. Now, we're gonna connect them up. Here's our connectors for the downstream. So it's just as simple as connecting them back up. Now what we'll do is we'll tuck these up and we'll hide these inside, tucked back here, and zip tied up. Make sure everything's nice and tucked in place before it's all said and done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect ground wire to our negative terminal on our battery. Now, we've got everything connected, so let's go ahead and try to start the bike up, just to make sure everything works before we proceed to the next step. It's alive. All right, so we know our fuel controller works, our Coober fuel controller. Everything's hooked up properly. Now, we'll still have to route our wiring, get everything nice and tucked in neat, and try to do something with this right here and make these wires as inconspicuous as possible. All right, so this is just putting everything kind of back in place. You see right here, this is where I'd like to mount the fuel controller, since I really don't have a lot of room. You don't have a long ground wire lead, so I really like the idea of mounting it here. So what I did is I went ahead and put this panel back on. I'm gonna put this here because we got a short ground wire there, and put that there, and put our seat on and see if that works without any clearance issues. Put our seat on and see. Does that work? And it does. Now look at that. So let's look at it from the side. So if you look at the bike from the side, once we get these wires tucked up here, the only way you'll be able to tell is you'll see an extra connector right there. That's it. That's the only telltale sign, is that you have something going on. Something else. So all right, so we're going to back up, take everything off, zip tie everything in place, and the fuel controller is done. We'll use some double-sided tape to stick the fuel controller onto the top of the airbox lid. So Coober even gives us the zip ties, so we're going to zip tie everything in place. We already kind of pre-fit our panel onto the side, so we know it's going to work. We know there's no clearance issues. We know the wires are going to be okay right here. Again, I'd rather them go underneath the frame here, but there's just no room at all without having to tear into these looms here. So we're going to zip tie them over here to the frame rail, and they will be out of the way. All right, let's put the panels back on. All right. So what we're going to do is let's go back over, we'll do a quick recap of the installation of our Coober fuel controller. So here's our unit right here. Now, we don't really have a good place to mount it, so we're just going to mount it to the top of our airbox. Here's our ground wire that goes to our negative side of our battery. We run our cables. We have two separate cables, 4 connectors. There's a pre-cat lambda sensor that the plugs are up behind this panel here, and then there's a post-cat lambda sensor, which is connectors here. Again, all we did was intercept those signals with the Coober fuel controller. Now, we've already test run the bike, or test started the bike, and it runs fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take it for a test ride, and we're going to see if we feel any difference with just the fuel controller before we take out the decap. Excuse me, before we remove the cap. So let's take it for a quick ride. Let's see how it does. All right, guys, so we're going to take the 2025 KTM 390 Enduro R. We're going to take it for a test ride, and this is with the installation of the Coober fuel management system. Now, we have yet to do the DCAT, and that's going to be its own separate installation video. So this is going to be the completion of the installation of the Coober fuel management system and a test ride, and then we'll come back and give our thoughts at the end. I need fuel anyway, so. All right, and like I said, this is going to be our first impressions. Now we're going this weekend out to Enery, and really going to get a chance to ride this thing. So, immediate initial first impression is what I did is I purposely lugged the bike coming out of the yard. Watch out! Excuse me. I purposely lugged it coming out of the yard, and prior to the fuel controller, it just would have stalled out. There was not enough fueling to get it to. That's interesting. There was not enough fueling to get it to idle, while engaged in the clutch. Second impression: I just took that turn, 25 miles an hour in fourth gear. Okay, that would not have happened without the fuel controller. It would have chugged. If it would have done it, it would have done it in protest. So let's see. Second gear start. Look at that. The fueling is just as smooth as it can be down low. Fantastic. Oh, coming from idle. Oh, that feels great. It pulls really strong from down low. Now let's go back to our standard view. Configure display mode standard. Because what I want to see is I want to see our RPMs. So let's see our RPMs. I'm going to lug it. I'm going to lug it down on purpose. Third gear. Look at that. That pulls fantastic low RPM. Let's go sixth gear. 3,000 RPM. Pulls right through it. Street mode now feels like what off-road mode felt like, with the responsiveness of the throttle. Now again, this is not a new ECU. This is just a closed loop system, which is a lower RPM that intercepts that signal coming from the lambda sensors and fools the ECU into giving you more fuel. Wow, that feels fantastic. That feels awesome. We got to get fuel anyway, so again, look, there's our fuel gauge. I mean, our reserve gauge. I don't know what the hell that is. So just initial impressions. Again, let's go down. Now we're just going to do some idle. Just giving it some throttle from idle. Just some balancing maneuvers once we get moving here. Right off a throttle, right off idle right there. I mean, honestly, before, you almost had to slip the clutch. Just enough to just to give it some throttle, because it was gonna die on you. That right there, off idle. You can off idle. Off dadgum idle, give it throttle, and without that hesitation or worrying that the dadgum thing was going to die on you. Oh, that's awesome. Here, look, let's try this right here. Let's try this before we get to the fuel pump. No throttle. Look at that. Look at that. That would have been impossible otherwise. Let's see what that gives us. again, the throttle response is immediate. There's no more hesitation. There's no more lag. There's no more, you know, before, anything below, you know, 2,000 RPM was going to stall. I actually was kind of getting, you know, maybe anxiety is not the word, but I mean, you're having to anticipate starting from a stop, because you'd have to slip it almost like you're sitting on a hill. Otherwise, it was going to stall. The fueling was that lean. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it was that lean down low. It didn't buck and chuck and everything else, but it was that lean down low. Now, with the Coober fuel controller, it's a lot smoother. Now, the fuel controller is designed to work in conjunction with the DCAT, but it's not a requirement. You're going to run that red light. What are you doing? Are you stopping? It's not a requirement. So, that feels so much better. That fueling is so much smoother. Again, it's saying 39.6. So again, that is wildly. Oh, it just shut off on me. It just shut off on me. That girl's crazy. Okay, so it did shut off right there. I tried to give it some throttle for sitting at an idle, and it just said, nope, I'm shutting off. So let's try that again. Let's see if that was an anomaly. So let's just sit here. First gear, clutch in. Okay. Oh, did it again. Look at that. So let's try it again. Clutch in. No problem there. No problem there. Let's move over a little bit. So there's still a flame out issue at idle, which is interesting. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for the installation and first ride of the Coober Performance Fuel Controller. Now, from idle, it felt great. You could feel from very low, very low fueling situations that there was plenty of juice there. You could tell that the super lean condition from the factory had been corrected. Once you get up to highway speed, it kind of felt about the same, but that really low RPM felt very, very smooth and was a lot smoother than what the stock map was. Now, I did notice that I had two different flame outs sitting dead stop, trying to give it a little bit of throttle, like a rev, that it flamed out twice within a very short span of each other. So I will talk to Aaron at Coober and see if that's something that's pretty common, or since it still has such a light flywheel and it's a single cylinder, you're still going to have flame outs. So I will talk to Aaron about that. But overall, I'd say the Coober fuel controller is an A+, and I highly, highly recommend it. Installation is super easy. You got to take off a couple panels right here, take off your seat, 4mm, 5mm, and a 10mm socket, and you'll have everything off. Plus, you need those in your toolkit anyway, if you have to take your bike apart. So 4mm, 5mm, and a 10mm socket, and you can access everything. So Coober ECU, or Coober fuel controller, highly, highly recommend. So if you see anything that you like, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, roll tide, and remember, tomorrow needs you. Thanks, guys.